Hi, and welcome to Design Resilience. I'm Rachel Williams, and in this corner of the internet, we talk about daily habits and practices that you can build so that when things go nuts, unexpected changes happen, things get hard, you have a foundation of resilience that you've built into your life bit by bit, day by day, so that you're not gutting it out when it gets really hard. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about the facet of design resilience around financial well-being. But just as a quick review, the five facets of design resilience are self-concept, physical well-being, financial well-being, community, and personal growth and development. And so I have playlists for each of these different concepts so that you can get an understanding and ground into these ideas so that you can, like I have through my personal experience, built resilience with daily habits and practices so that when things changed, which I've experienced a lot of significant change in my life in the last few years, I have things that I can rely on that show up to support me. So, with regard to financial well being and financial stability, today I want to talk about debt and my personal journey with debt and how that has enabled me to make different choices in my life because I manage it differently now. So, growing up, my parents definitely made it known to us that money was something to be concerned about. They fought about it, and I grew up believing that I needed to, first of all, make my own money and not be reliant on anyone else for financial stability because that was something that created instability in my parents' relationship. So much so that when I went to college, I was terrified of debt. So I did not take out any loans. I only applied for grants and scholarships, and I got a little scholarship. And I ended up working all the way through college, two jobs, and sometimes three when I could manage it. And I graduated debt free from college in 3 years because I just pushed and pushed and pushed. And so much so that I didn't even have a credit card. Like I was just terrified of having debt because I knew that that made money more difficult. Right after college, I got married to a man who was in active alcoholism. And in all of the things that you try to throw at addiction, I began to accumulate debt, and so did he. And when the time came for that marriage to end and I got divorced, I didn't want to fight about it. I didn't want to have a big drawn out thing. So I just agreed to take all of the debt from our relationship. It was between $22,000 and $23,000. So here I am. My first marriage ended. I relocated. I've had to find a new job, and now I've got all of this debt. And so at the time, I found two jobs and I signed up with a debt consolidation company, and they took all of my debt into one account, and I just made payments to that one account. Now, I know that's very controversial in financial conversations. You know, there's a lot of people who believe that that was the wrong move, but at the time of my life, that's what I did. And it enabled me to focus on a goal and attack it every month. And so I was working a corporate job, and I was also working on the weekends at a restaurant to be able to pay that off. And I successfully became debt free as a single woman following my divorce. Fast forward years later, I meet and marry my current husband, and we decide that we're going to combine our finances. And in order to do that, we have to look at everything, including debt. And I have, by this time, accumulated more debt, and so has he. So we had student loans, or he did from his college time. We had car loans, credit card debt, all that kind of stuff put all together. And so we decided to use the Dave Ramsey snowball method to pay off our debt this time. And so we made a list of our debts from least to greatest. We attacked the smallest one first to get some momentum and feel good. And then we started throwing all the extra minimum payments from the previous debts and then any extra cash we had at the debt. And in about 2 years, we paid off $72,000 in debt. And as a household, we were not even making $72,000 for that whole time. So it was an exercise in discipline, and it changed our relationship. We now don't really think there's anything that we can't do together because that was a big one. It required a lot of honesty and openness and willingness to change our habits and just be honest about it when it sucked and celebrate when it was great, and all of that. So why do I tell you all that? Why do I tell you about my journey with debt and the ways that I paid it off? Because having debt, well, I'll tell you that the framing that really changed my mind about debt was when I heard someone say that when you buy with cash, you are paying with hours of your life that you've already worked. And when you buy with debt, you're paying with hours that you will work. You are committing yourself to future hours of work. And when I heard that, that was the mindset change that I needed to really focus on living in a cash environment, living off my cash flow as opposed to using debt to buy things. Because as much as I love to work, and I do love to work, I don't want to promise future days to a debtor. And so that mind shift helped set me up. The second thing, and why the idea of removing debt from your life. Now, I will caveat that we owe on our mortgage. So I'm not saying only move into a house that you can afford to pay cash for. Everything else, that's where I'm thinking paying cash for cars and, the things that you would normally finance. But for a house, we still owe on our mortgage. Um, the real reason that removing debt from your life is helpful when you're designing your resilience is that debt adds complication and risk to your life. So when you have debt payments and you need to make choices that are dictated by the fact that you have to pay them, you may stay in a job that is toxic or that is unfulfilling for longer. You may not take a job that you're really excited about because the salary is not right to pay all of your debt payments. And so you may have to move out of or move into a place that you did or did not want to be because of you have to manage your debt payments with your income. And so the risk that debt adds lowers your resilience because you don't have as many flexible options. You don't have as much ability to move when most of your cash flow is going to debt payments. And so if I think about what it takes to build resilience into my day to day, that means moving out debt so that the cash that I have coming in is what I know I can spend, and I can adjust to that based on what cash I have coming in. So when I lost my job in December, I adjusted to the cash that was now coming in from my husband's income. I didn't have to worry about debt payments or defaulting on loans or huge fees for interest because I didn't have any debt. And so I would offer that as you're building resilience and as you're thinking about how do I limit the risk and limit the complexity in my life so that when things change, I can move and I can make choices. Debt elimination is something that I have found to be very important in my ability to navigate change, to take the time off that I need when I need it, to move when I need to take jobs or reject jobs um, a lot more easily because I don't have this extra burden kind of on my back. So I hope this is helpful. I'd love to know what your debt journey has been like. And if you have any questions about how I accomplished debt freedom twice in my life, I've learned my lesson this time. Um, I would love to talk to you in the comments. So have a wonderful day and I'll talk to you